This lesson is about the Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You'll want to get a copy of the handout by clicking on the link below in the video description. You'll also want to get 2 different colors of highlighters or colored pencils to make it more helpful and to deepen your understanding. The first thing you need to know about the Pythagorean Theorem is that it works with right triangles and only right triangles. That little square in the corner tells you that the triangle is a right triangle. A 3, 4, 5 triangle, right triangle, is the classic example that we use to show students the Pythagorean Theorem. One of the things that you need to understand is that the A and the B sides are called the legs. Those are the 2 sides that make up the right angle. So on the handout you'll want to go ahead and highlight, just like I did here, that the A and the B are the legs, and they are interchangeable. It doesn't matter if you use the 3 for the A and the 4 for the B. You could do it the other way and it absolutely will not make any kind of a difference. The C part, though, it's very important that you know it's the hypotenuse, and that is the side. You want to make sure that you're putting that number into the right location on your equation. So equals 5 squared equals 5 squared. It always has to go in that particular position when you are using the formula. Okay, so here's the handout. Hopefully you've got it downloaded already, and we're going to go ahead. I'm going to do 2 different examples. The first example is the type of problem you can expect to see where you need to find the hypotenuse. And this is usually where we start with the Pythagorean Theorem. So notice here that the missing side is this side right here, the hypotenuse. So when you see a right triangle, it's almost like you want to have alarms going off, that as soon as you see it, you can really expect to be using the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So let's take a look. A has a length of 5, so we're going to do 5 squared, and the b side has a length of 12, so we're going to do 12 squared. And again, remember, those 2 are interchangeable. It doesn't really matter what order you put it in. Now, here's the really important part. Write the c squared part. Don't leave off that little 2, because it's going to tell you a step that you're going to have to do in just a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and solve for c. 5 squared is 25, and 12 squared is 144, equals c squared. When we add those together, we get 169, equals c squared. The way we do showing our work for this, if we want to get the c all by itself and not a c squared but an actual c, we're going to take the square root of it. Square root of c squared is c, and the square root of 139 is 13. And that's the process when you have to find the hypotenuse. The next example is finding the length of one of the legs. And this is where it gets a little bit different. And grab your highlighters, and notice this time we are looking for one of the legs. We're looking for this leg right here. The hypotenuse has a measurement. There we go. You can see it's a 17. So it's going to matter in where we put our numbers. So again, I see a right triangle, and right away my brain goes to a squared plus b squared equals c squared. When I go to put in the numbers, I'm going to put 15 squared for the a, b squared, remember it's one of the legs that's missing, equals, whoops, not c squared, is it? And in fact, I think what I'd like to do is, just to emphasize the fact that we're doing one of the legs, is I'm going to pick that color blue that I was using to highlight it. B squared. And equals 17 squared. $15 squared is 225 plus b squared equals 289. You want to get these square numbers memorized. They come up often enough, probably up to 15 can really come in handy. Alright, so here's where the difference is going to come in. This time we have, let's do green here. We've got the b squared is the one that we're trying to isolate or get alone on one side of the equal sign. So we're going to do minus 225 from both sides. And we'll have b squared equals 64. The last step, take the square root of both sides and you get 8. So there's one little extra step where you have to rearrange the equation so that the b squared is all by itself. But not too challenging, and that ought to do it.